I'm in the hall. I see guys carrying what I think is a plate glass window. It's a giant cue card. Just has the word hello on it.
Club Random.
I like the old school pleasures,
The
Jay.
old school. The men and the women were glad of it.
Club Random.
Jay?
Bill, what's going on?
If that's not Jay, that's an amazing impression.
There you are.
Stay there, and I want you to hurt yourself.
I'm all right. I got a busted Jay second.
So listen, I wrote out the next 6 get well cards. I
Oh,
thought,
okay, yeah.
with the price of
I
postage
understand.
these days, if you know,
I think it's so smart. You save your money.
I mean, this one is for when you fall down a flight of stairs.
It's good,
This
yeah.
is something to do with a knitting needle. This is an elevator shaft.
Very
So
good.
if you could just.
Well, thank you, Bill. You're concerned.
Well, how are you, Jay?
I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm okay.
You're Iron Jay.
I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm all right.
You need. I feel like you are proving that you're Iron Jay, and you don't need to. We always thought you were Iron Jay.
I understand.
But you heal very quickly.
I do heal quickly.
Because, like, I saw.
Because 10 days ago, this is totally black and white.
I saw the picture.
Yeah. And, my eye was shut for 3 days, and I thought, oh, boy, am I blind in one eye? Okay. And then after 3 days, it opened. And, oh, okay. And I was fine.
Now, what do you attribute that to? Good Italian
It was
genes?
swollen. It was swollen.
Scottish, Italian?
Yeah,
genes?
Scottish genes. That's what you want. Thinning hair, bad teeth, bad skin. You want those Scottish genes.
But no, combinations are always healthier, just like in dogs.
Well, I guess that's true. That's true.
The more we are,
probably-
and of course, when you're two alike, as when you marry your cousin,
Right.
we know that goes the wrong way.
That goes the wrong way.
So,
Yeah.
so that's because you're not a young man anymore. But
No. No, I'm not.
But you certainly shouldn't be. And you're quite hale, but you certainly shouldn't be falling down hills, don't you think?
I agree. But it was either walk 2.5 hours. It doesn't look that steep. Down! And then, it fell down.
But Jay, when I started, someone told me your edge is your sanity.
Your what?
Your edge.
Your edge
in
is
show business
Okay.
is your sanity, because so many people in show business are crazy in their own
That's
different
true.
ways. I think at the time we were talking about Richard Belzer, who had his own, he was a brilliant comic, but he
he was a real good actor too. He did a great job on Homicide in the Streets. He really found the depth of that character.
Yes, Detective Munch.
Yeah, I mean, it was unique. I hadn't seen a character like that. He made it his own, and I assume it was. I don't think anybody guided him. I think he just sort of developed it himself. It's pretty good.
Well, I mean, I felt it was Belzer as we knew Belzer as a detective. If Richard Belzer, the comic, had chosen to be a detective, that's
What's so
exactly
funny
what...
is a comic. He was a good comic, but he was the same comic. He didn't change his act hardly much at all.
What? He never wrote a word down.
Well, I remember he
did the same bits. We all did.
Well, when he did TV, he would always do kind of the same.
Oh, well,
same bits. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
again,
good
that's...
improvisational comic. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he was brilliant in the nightclub.
Yeah.
And many have found out that, it doesn't translate as well to TV. Some performers are hot as opposed to the cool medium of TV.
Right.
You were number one for over 2 decades because you understood television.
Why are you putting eye drops in your drink?
They're not eye drops.
Oh, I see.
Jay. I brought them for you.
I thought
in case you hurt yourself while you're here.
I thought they were Visine. I don't know what you're doing.
No, this is just a way to have a healthier version of...
Right.
Well, what are you eating lately? Are you still on do you ever eat vegetables? No. Are you still the guy who doesn't eat a vegetable? And
I had
proud
one at
of it?
62 and I didn't like it.
What vegetable was it?
I don't remember. It was a horrible experience. I'm just not a vegetable guy.
No, I understand. And look, you're proving that obviously there's something in our genes that's more powerful than things like how you eat, because a lot of people would think, if you never eat a vegetable, how could you possibly be healthy? But
yeah, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I'm not a stress guy. I don't stress.
right.
People say, oh, the Tonight Show must be too much. No, write joke, tell joke, get checked. Pretty simple.
No, I do drugs and drink.
Really?
And
No,
smoke.
you see, I learn something every day. I've known you all these
But-
years. Now I find out you're doing
Yeah.
drugs.
Jay, do you know? Did you see what the Inquirer said about your spill?
No, what did they say? I didn't
They
see-
say, well, they it's a conspiracy theory since you've had 3 accidents.
right.
That you actually have gambling debts and you're being beaten up by the mob.
Well, that's what I love the idea that the mob would drive to Greenburgh, Pennsylvania, wait outside the Hampton Inn in kind of a sleety, kind of rainy day to throw me down the hill. Yeah.
Well, no, that's not what they're saying. Please don't mischaracterize the Inquirer.
Yes.
They're saying throw you down the hill was your cover story, but they
Oh.
just beat you up like the mob always does. And that when you had the other accident where you fell off your motorcycle, wink, wink,
Right.
and had your knees.
No, what happened was the guy had a rope across the driveway and it cut my
Sure he did, Jay.
I just got I got a new face when my face caught fire, and then 2 months later it tore my face. I had to call my face guy, and I need another face, so I went up and he gave me another one. So
But you have the same face. So it's interesting. The article started out saying Jay Leno, who's worth $450 million, has gambling debts. I was like, that is quite a gambling
well, I like
habit.
the idea that they wouldn't just take one of my cars for the gambling debt.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're worth that much?
No, I was pretty smart. I remember years ago, I was a Catch a Rising Star, and I was on stage, and this guy, a mob guy, comes up to me afterwards. He goes, "Hey, you funny kid, you funny kid." I'm like, "Hey." He takes $100, he puts it in my pocket. Like,
Really?
right? Really, you're a funny kid. He goes like this. Yeah. I said, "Oh, thank you." I said, "Look, I don't mean any disrespect, but give it to the church or something. I don't really." He goes, "What?" I said, "No, I'm okay, but thank you. I don't want you. I'm not. I appreciate it. I'm okay." And he says to me, "No, you're a smart kid. You don't take money from people like me. That's smart." And nobody ever bothered me again. Nobody ever bothered me again. I saw the mob kick the crap out of comics left and right.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, one person we know
Who?
was on stage. Well,
Was he Italian?
no.
No.
Well, yes, he was. Yeah, he was.
An Italian name.
Yes,
I think I know who
yeah,
you're
okay.
talking about.
Anyway, and just beat the crap out of him because he was
What?
being a wise ass on stage.
To them.
To them, yeah, that kind of stuff was not good. That happened to Carson. Carson.
Got beat up?
Well, Carson went to Jilly's one night with Pushkin.
His lawyer.
Yeah, and they got having drinks, and they start hitting on these 2 girls, kind of rudely. Turns out they're mob
Oh, Malls.
girlfriends, whatever
Mall.
called, right? So they threatened they put a hit out on Carson. So Carson stops the Tonight Show for the week. He just he leaves because this is real.
Ooh.
And then at the time, they had. You remember Joey Colombo, the guy? He had that whole Italian civil rights thing going in New York
Sure,
City.
of course.
Well, they had the Italians. They had the Italian St. Genovese parade, which was sponsored by the 5 families. So nobody in New York would cover it. So Joey Colombo went to NBC and said, "If you cover the Italian parade, we'll pull a hit on Carson." And they did. They ordered it. You never heard that story?
I certainly did not.
You got to get out more. You're smoking too much stuff. You got to get out and see what real people are doing.
I bring people in here and then they tell me
Yeah.
things.
No, but yeah, that's true. And that was for real. I mean, it's just
So just for the record, you were not beaten up by the mob. Because,
no, I was not.
Have you ever gambled?
No, I don't gamble.
I said it doesn't sound
No,
like
I don't
Jay.
get. I don't get. It's, losing $100 makes me feel stupider than winning $1,000 makes me feel good. Because I go, I could have taken my wife to dinner. I could have done something. I don't get it. Plus, I'm dyslexic. So to me, "Sir, you have 28. What? You have 28. Oh, it's not 21. No, it's 28, sir. Oh, okay. No, so I'm not. No, I'm not a gambler. No.
No, your life is comedy, and that's why you're at the Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
There's a
exactly.
question, Jay. Getting
Yeah.
back to my thing about your sanity is your edge. Why is a guy who's worth $450 million
Mhm.
staying at the Hampton Inn?
My plane landed at 1 a.m. I'm there for 7 hours. I just grab a hotel and I go to bed. Why? Where would I stay? You know, I remember once we had MC Hammer came to the Tonight Show, and he had 300 people.
No, he didn't. Not
Yes.
300.
300 people in his staff. I mean, I
Come
don't know
on.
if all 300 were there, but there were hundreds of people there. It was like, and they're all cousins, they're all being paid. And then I realized he's having tax problems. Oh, what could go wrong? You know. Yeah.
But isn't there a middle ground between that and the Hampton Inn? I'm just saying, middle ground to me.
You find me a better hotel in Greenburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'll stay
I
there.
see.
Yeah, I mean, what do you? I'm a
Well,
little
but
town.
even playing Greenburgh, Pennsylvania, it sort of reminds me of Elvis the day he died. You know where he was headed? Portland, Maine. I mean, well, he's Elvis Presley. You know, I feel like
Muhammad Ali fought in Portland, Maine. He fought Sonny Liston. Biggest fight ever up to that point.
Right.
Portland, Maine.
And I have nothing against Portland, Maine, but Elvis, you know, should have and could have, I think, been playing more major venues. He never went to Europe because of that horrible manager.
Yeah, the horrible manager. Yeah,
Right.
that was a sad story. I always I think there's a certain empathy for Elvis. I always liked Elvis. He seemed like, you know, he was a great guy. He had African-American backup singers when that was not even, don't even mention it.
Really?
In the South. Yes, he did. And he always gave credit. He always gave credit to
Yeah.
black artists, to Chuck Berry.
That's true.
And everybody else stole their songs and performed them. But Elvis always said where they came from.
Speaking of beaten up by the mob story,
Mhm.
do you know the one about Sammy Davis?
How he
Because-
lost the eye?
Well, no, maybe that was the same thing. No, I thought it was a car accident, wasn't
Okay.
it? Well, I mean, the thing I'm referring to is he met a white girl. I think she was an actress. I think she was kind of semi-famous.
Yes, it was
Brit something or
Brick Eklund.
no,
No, not Brick Eklund.
May Brit, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah,
a blonde white girl.
yeah.
And this is what I've heard. The mob told him, like, either you're going to break this off tonight, you know, or we're going to kill you.
Right.
Why it was their business to enforce
I don't know.
racism, I don't know, but I guess they took it seriously. And that night, he, on stage, proposed to one of his African-American backup singers to solidify his commitment to living.
I don't know.
You've heard? You
Yeah.
never heard that?
I work with him. Did you ever work with him?
No, I saw him once, and it was awesome.
The greatest entertainer ever. I mean,
Yeah.
he could act.
Oh,
I saw him
Funny.
on a Twilight Zone where he played, you know, those half-hour ones? And he was the little guy, and everybody made fun of him and so and so and so in the army, you know. So one of the guys say, "Hey, let's screw with him," you know. So they had a fake hand grenade, and they threw it on the ground in front of him, and he jumped on it,
oh, Jesus
you know,
Christ.
to save all.
Oh, that's the,
Yeah, that was the story.
I see.
But he played it so well. It was like, it was just gut wrenching because these guys just trash him, dump water on his head, you know, just always messing with him. He had great empathy.
Even when they thought they were just being funny, I mean, one of the things that Dean Martin used to do when they were on stage together, the Rat Pack, him and Frank and Dean, is that he would lift Sammy up, who of course was diminutive,
Right,
and
right.
say, "Thank you for this NAACP award."
Right.
Which today would probably not be the
That would
appropriate-
not be.
for the double
know,
of short and
He was the
race.
greatest guy. If you work with Sammy and you said, "It's a beautiful watch," oh, he'd give it to you. I mean, he was that kind of guy. He traveled, when I worked with him, every place he went became his house. So he brought his Barker Lounger chair, his 119 photos, put them on the wall of every dressing room he worked in. Like we would do Harris for a week. You go into his room, it was his den at home. It'd have all the pictures, him and Sammy and all the guys. And
it's insane.
yeah.
Well, that's what I mean about people in show business are insane.
Well,
it's an insane thing
yeah,
to
but
do for a week.
you have to understand though, when he was with the Will Masson Trio, he's always been a performer since he was a little
Yeah,
kid.
a little kid.
So you lived on the road. You're like gypsies, you know. That was your house. So you brought all your personal things with you. So when he put all those pictures on the wall, he went home every night.
Yeah, but now he's not a child, and he's not on the road all the time.
Well, he was. How old do you think he was when he died?
64.
I know, isn't it unbelievable? When I was a kid, it was like, well, that seems about right, you know, 60.
It's funny because I used to do a bit back, like when he died in the 90s, about basically, you know, as I have often, defending libertarianism and doing drugs if you want to,
All right.
not basing how we should make drug laws based on the people who fuck up with it.
Right.
If that's your choice. And I said, Sammy Davis lived that kind of life, drank drugs, you know, and lived to 64. And I used to say, give me 64 Sammy years, then 100 Ken Starr years, or some Republican like that.
Right.
Then I got to be 64 and I was like, well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, let me finish.
Yeah. You know, but he was a wonderful human being. He's a great guy. He just remember him hugging Nixon, and then
So what?
I know, but at the time he was he was seen as a traitor.
It's so funny you mention that because, like, today we live in this time when you're not allowed to have friends from the other side or cross lines politically. And I forgot that there's an example of that way back when.
Yeah.
A guy who crossed lines politically. Ooh, the worst thing you could ever do, be friends with a Republican? Call 911.
Yeah.
This is what I fucking hate about the left. Like, you know, and they're not going to get me over to the Trump side, which they think they will sometimes. But just the idea that, you know, cut your family off for Thanksgiving if they voted for the wrong guy.
Well, yeah.
Fuck off, you fucks.
Well, I don't know.
And Sammy,
yeah.
but when he hugged Nixon, he was ostracized
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
by the left a lot. That was an
was.
early harbinger of that.
Because you also had Black Panther, and you had that whole movement
Black
going
Panther.
on. The Black Panther movement was very big on college campus and stuff at that time.
72 is this?
Yeah, 71,
Right.
72. Yeah.
But I remember what Sammy said at the time when they asked him about the Nixon thing, which was he went through like his economic achievements. The Nixon administration was not an unsuccessful administration before Watergate. And said, you know, you got to go with the man who has results. Now, I don't remember exactly what the economy was with Nixon. I was 13. But that attitude, that idea, I admire so much, as opposed to the virtue signaling and the stuff that they do just to make themselves feel better about being ally. You know what? You want to be a good ally? Address the actual problems. Any racial problem in this country is not addressed by DEI and having programs like that. It's three things, and John McWhorter, the great African-American writer, names them. You know, better schools, don't graduate kids who don't know anything and have no skills, more dads, and the drug war.
Right.
Those are the practical things, and that's not what they care about talking about.
Right.
So, Sammy Davis, here's to you. But that story about the mob threatening to kill him, you don't know that one? You don't think that's true?
I don't think it's true. Sammy told me it wasn't true.
Oh, you asked him about it?
Well, it just came up.
Wow.
One of those
I didn't know you were that close to him.
Yeah, I worked with him. I opened for him. He was great.
You were like, Tom Dreesen to Frank Sinatra.
When he would do Mr. Bojangles, I mean, people would be in tears.
Oh, when I saw him,
he could stand up and click his heels. He could kick his feet out to the side, and it was like a marionette. It was like, what?
Right.
It was unbelievable.
So I saw him once. I was playing Reno.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, what does the sign say? The smallest, largest city,
the biggest little city in the world.
Whatever it is. It's no offense to Reno. I love Reno.
Of course not.
But it's not just a smaller version of Vegas. It's not really a city, a big city.
You want a great Reno story?
Okay.
I was playing Reno. So maybe it's like, let's go. We had no money, so we'll go down to Circus and have the 99-cent dinner or whatever it was. Okay. I walk in the middle, they got a boxing ring set up. Okay. I go, it's the next fight, 10. Oh, let's see what this is. Okay. Little guy comes out. They called them midgets then. Now we're called little person. And they got a kangaroo. right?
Come on.
Now listen to this. And the kangaroo is like,
Yeah, come on.
they got the kangaroo on a choke
They're
chain.
fighting?
Yeah, well, no, the kangaroo's got boxing gloves on.
Right.
And the midget's like, come on in, come on, I'm not scared of you, come on in. And they got the kangaroo on a choke chain, right? And they're leading him out. And he's like, dun 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 dun. And the guy goes, kangaroo goes, bam! It just boom! The guy goes down, boom! And then the trainers are out. They give him a little something to eat. They squirt water on they pet his fur down, you know. And the little guy gets up. That didn't hurt me. And he's got a big welt on his face. You know. And, come on. Okay, they lead him a little more. And they just this, you know, this is the kangaroo's life. He doesn't know this is a game.
Jay, that was what the 6th card was for.
Oh, yeah,
when you
yeah,
that.
So anyway, kangaroo's like down, and boom, hits him again. And now he's out. He's just out cold. Hey, and they lift the paw up of the kangaroo, and they get the guy lies it. And here's the worst part. Here's the worst. They put the kangaroo back on his chair. They're all hosing him down and petting him. The midget's lying on the ground. And the guy puts the thing up. Next fight, 45 minutes. The guy had to do it again. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is horrible. This is show business. This is the most horrible show business thing I've ever seen in my life. And this guy is like, and his face, you know the way my face looked when I fell down the hill?
Yeah.
It looked like that. His face, it was like leather. Because
so a kangaroo can just throw a punch like that? Like a
oh Jesus! Yeah, you ever seen kangaroos?
Well, no, I never saw an animal throw a punch. I mean, animals
kangaroos box. Yeah, boxing kangaroos, of course. Yeah.
But is there? I mean, if you get with a bear, he's going to kill you, but he's not going to punch you.
A kangaroo, a kangaroo will punch you.
The bear isn't like this.
The kangaroo will punch you.
I see.
Tell that to the midget. He didn't really hit you in the face. But this guy, I mean, I'm thinking that was like the worst show business job I'd ever seen.
I think you should write a memoir and call it "Tell That to the Midget," the Jay Leno story.
Yeah, it's horrible, horrible.
Because you have the best show business stories. You really do.
It's so stupid.
How many shows do you think you've done?
I don't know. I mean, I used to do 250 a year, and I do about 175, maybe 200, something like that.
You know, I just did my last one.
Why?
2 days ago.
Why?
Because I'm not Iron Jay.
Don't you enjoy it? You don't.
I do enjoy being on stage. I don't enjoy 100 other things about it that don't really get better. I don't want to start on how people in hotels don't do anything good. I mean, I get mad when the TV doesn't work. You fall down the hill. But, you know, but I'm staying at the best hotel and they can't get it right.
Right.
I would expect
Yes, but see, nothing funny happens at the best hotel. When you stay at the bad hotels, funny thing. You know what? I played Cincinnati once, and I stayed at the Hotel Cincinnatian, which is it was a men's hotel.
What year is this?
This is 1971, 72.
A men's hotel?
It was a men's.
I don't know what that means.
Men only.
Why?
Because it was a men's hotel. They used to have male and female.
What was different about it? That there were just urinals?
Well, I'll tell you what's different. I'm in my room, and I hear a noise on the door. What's that? I see water. And I open the door and go, and there's a guy peeing on my door.
Oh.
And I go, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, don't stop that. And he goes, I always pee on this door.
Oh.
And then I looked at the door and the paint was all crumbs. So apparently he did always pee on that door. And I went, oh, well, not tonight. I'm here tonight. All of a sudden. But yeah, men's hotel, there would be like guys.
How did he get near your door?
Guys he's in the hall.
It's on the first floor?
No, it was on the second and third floor.
So he went up 2 floors to pee?
No, he stayed in one of the rooms.
Why didn't he pee in the room?
Because there was no bathroom in his room.
That's why it's a men's hotel? Because there was a communal bathroom?
There'd be a communal bathroom, yeah.
Geez, why couldn't you stay there instead of the Hampton?
But
maybe you'd be okay now.
It was $2 a night.
$2 a night?
Yeah. 1971.
I know. I just had never heard of anything. But my Reno thing with Sammy, first, let me just tell you what, because it was the 80s and I was playing there. I was opening for somebody like Melissa Manchester.
Right.
Because again, to finish with the Reno thing, lovely city, but smaller. So like you could see the big stars. They all played there. And you could see them in a room with 400 people. I mean,
Right.
small rooms, like
Right.
almost like a comedy club, very intimate. I saw Dr. Cosby there.
Oh, Bill
Okay.
Cosby, yeah.
Yeah, never was a fan of that comedy, but okay, he was there. And I saw Sammy. Sammy, it was first of all, he's sitting in a stool, a cloud of smoke, the cigarette going, and he tells the audience, don't be stupid like me, as he's looking like the coolest guy in the world.
Right,
I
right.
never wanted to smoke cigarettes so much than that. It really does work. And then I remember he sang Bojangles, but not at the end.
Right.
And he tells the audience, don't think this is the end. I know you think Bojangles is my big ending song, but I'm just doing it now because I want to change up the show, whatever. And he sang it. And of course, it did bring down the house. But everything he did.
Yeah, he was great.
I mean, so, okay, I'm playing Reno in 1984.
Right.
I cannot compete with your stories, but
No,
this
no.
is my best Reno story. In 1984, I'm 28, and I have this sport jacket made of leather.
Oh, yeah.
Leather. I bought it in the mall. I think I was shopping at the mall with Jerry Seinfeld.
Right, right.
So I blame him partly for this, for even suggesting I get this. But so it's a sport coat. It's not like a leather, but like a sport coat made of leather.
Right,
So
right.
and the opening comic, the one before me, was a woman, and she ended with like 10 minutes about what assholes macho guys are.
Right, right.
And then I come out, and the audience just starts laughing and I didn't understand. And I said to the people, "What are you laughing at?" And they told me that it's like she was just making fun of macho assholes, and you come out wearing a leather sport coat.
Yeah, I remember playing. I was opening for Tom Jones at Caesars, my first time at Caesars. I come off stage and I walk out in the front, and this girl comes up and goes, "Great show." I said, "Oh, thanks. Yeah, how are you?" "Good." Yeah. She goes, "What are you doing?" "I'm just gonna get something to eat." "Oh, okay, I'll join you." "Oh,
This is before you were married.
yeah, before I was married, yeah." "Okay." I was just sitting there, we're talking, and she goes, "You don't have all night." I said, what are you talking about?" "Well, she was a hooker." I didn't know she was a hooker. She said great show to everybody. I
Right.
thought she saw me on stage.
Oh.
So I went, "Oh, well, oh." So I was, "Oh, she likes me." "Oh,
What
thank you
show
very
was
much."
she referring to?
No, she
She just
saw
knew
me
you
step
were
out.
on stage?
No, she knew I was on stage
But why would you say great show to somebody?
because I just stepped out of the showroom.
Oh.
And she went, "Oh, great show." I said, "Oh, thank you." I'm thinking, "Oh, well, this girl saw the show. This is,
That reminds me of David Brenner's great bit. Remember when he said the first time he did the Tonight Show and he gets on the subway?
Oh, yes, you're
And-
funny, yeah."
Right, and the guy in the subway goes, "You're funny."
Oh, yeah.
And Brenner's like, "Oh, this is awesome. I'm in show business. People are seeing me on the Tonight Show." And then the guy comes on, sits next to Brenner, and the guy goes, "You're funny."
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
It was great. Oh, Jay, where did the years go?
I know. There you go.
I mean, I'm very comfortable with this decision, honestly. All year long, as I knew, and I didn't book anything in 2025, and I didn't make some announcement because I might go back to it. You're right. I don't know. But I have to see whether it's just an addiction or whether I really love it, whether it's worth it. And I don't
You're
think
getting, I see. To me, to come up with a new joke, like the other
I
night,
know.
I came up with a new joke.
I know.
I'll try my new joke on you.
I know, but and I want you to, but that's the sore point. You just hit the bone on this one.
Why?
Well, because I know I'm going to come up with bits, and then it's like, it's like when you're horny and you can't come, it's just going to back up in you. I mean, what am I going to do with the bits? That would be perfect for my next act. I mean, I cut a half hour out of this act to make it fit for 60 minutes, but it's still good stuff that I could start a new act with, as I always did.
Yeah, but for me, that's half the fun. It's just keep adding on to it.
I know.
It's like building a wall. You got a brick
know.
at a time.
But you know what? I just don't want to drag my ass out of bed. I'm not like you. I'm not Iron J. I'm not up in the morning anyway. You're up anyway. You only sleep for 4 hours, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's very rare in humans.
Well, I've been up since 4. Actually, I went to bed last night.
See,
I went to bed last night at midnight. I usually go to bed at 2 or 3. I don't go to bed at midnight, and then I was up at 4. And I was just dragging my ass around reading and doing stuff. So.
But you don't feel shitty?
No,
And you don't drink coffee? Or
no,
anything?
no hot liquids.
What are you, Mormon? What do you
No,
mean, no hot
I
liquor?
don't like hot liquids. I don't like all that.
Okay, you don't drink.
Soup is just a way to screw you out of a meal. That's my attitude.
Well, okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't know why we had to shit on soup. I mean, soup's good.
I'm
But
not a big soup guy.
I'm not a big soup guy, but I don't blanketly hate all soup.
I don't. It's just a way to screw you out of a meal. Oh, I could have had something to eat. Oh, you give me a dish that's wet. Okay, thanks.
Well, I think that will serve you well as you go forward in life, because a lot of the times what they make fun of older people for is liking soup.
That's right. That's right.
And if you're the guy you're still eating
That's
steak.
the old joke, a Jewish joke. Guys walking down the street. Hooker goes, "Hey, old man, how'd you like some soup or sex?" He goes, "Soup." Yeah.
That joke worked better back when people used to say the word super.
Yeah. Nobody said.
Now kids are like, what is, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because super around, where was it, the 70s, the 80s? I think David Frost was the first one who said it. It was a British thing. Oh, that's super.
Yeah.
That's just super. And then, of
Well,
course.
there was Glenn Super, the comic. Remember him?
Oh, I do remember the name.
Yeah, Glenn Super. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There you go.
so where are you off to next, Jay, in your 170 days on the road?
I don't know. I'll pick up the envelope Monday and see where I'm going.
What?
Yeah.
You still do it that way?
Yeah. So if
Oh my God.
I open the envelope. Oh, I'm going to Wilmington. Oh, this is great. So I got on the plane. I did private planes. I fly, land in Wilmington. Camera crew, hey, gentlemen, well, yeah, great. Last time I was here, I played a little club downtown. What club was that? It's off on Main Street. Oh, way. Oh, yeah, you don't know it? Yeah. So I talk a little bit. And they don't seem to know it. And the guy picks me up, and he's got a bit of an accent. Then we get to where we're going. Everybody else has an accent. And I realize, oh, I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. I thought I was in Wilmington, Delaware. But when I got off the plane, I was talking about Wilmington,
Sure.
Delaware. Yeah. I said, oh, so I got to pay more attention.
Jay, you're ridiculous. It's just you're just ridiculous. I mean, why? I mean,
But see, I'm happy. You're not happy.
I'm very happy.
Oh, you're happy. Okay.
Yeah, I've been happy doing stand-up all the time.
Yeah.
And now that the balance has shifted, I think, just even if it's 51.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, once you quit, you can't go back.
Yes, you can. What are you
Yes.
talking about? I've done it for over 40
Yeah,
years.
but you never really quit. You did the show. You did monologues.
No, never quit stand-up. But I'm saying, like, you don't think after over 40 years of doing it, if I took a year off, I'd forget how to do it?
Not a year, but a couple of years. I mean, I've seen people
No,
try
it
to
would
do
just take a while to,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like spring training.
But people, we live in an era now where people show up and they tape every set. Oh, I saw him. He was terrible. I mentioned on stage doing some new material, and guys said, "Oh no, I heard you do this new material 2 weeks ago." Well, yeah, it's still new material. Yeah, it's not new. I heard you 2 weeks
Right.
ago. Yeah,
Let me write a new act just for you, sir.
yeah, that's what people think. That's what people think. Yeah.
So you were with this hooker.
No, I wasn't with her.
Well, Jay, you just said
But no, she
you
said,
went to dinner with a hooker.
No, I didn't know she was a hooker.
Well, that's what you
she
say
said,
now.
"You're wasting my time." I said, "What? Are you going to pay me or not?" I go, "For what?"
Wow.
I went, "Oh, I just thought I met a nice girl who said a great show."
I mean, the same thing happened to me. I mean, I think we all, when we're that age, we're naive.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And that's hysterical that you actually, but yeah, she probably at some point.
Here's how long ago it was. I played Caesars when it was the only hotel that far out. There was nothing else
Right.
around it.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I figured one day, I said, I'm going to go for a walk. So I leave the hotel. I walk about a half a mile, and I see bellmen in golf carts coming at me at a high rate of speed. They go, get in. I go, why? Get in. There's a flash flood coming. I go, what are you talking about? And then 2 minutes later, the golf carts engulfed in water. Just hilarious. I said, where did it come? It's flat. Where did all this water come from? I don't know where it came from, but it was a flash flood.
Where does it come from?
I don't know. It came from the hill somewhere.
So you never thought about gathering all these stories and putting out
Oh, too much trouble. That's
too much
annoying.
trouble to write
I
a
would
book?
rather just tell them and have fun
Right.
with it. It's, you know. But, oh, I read that. Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah, I put out a book this year, and it was.
the book was great. It's a terrific
Oh,
book.
thank you.
It was
I mean,
really good. I enjoy those because each one is different, has a unique point of view. No, I thought it was a
I
terrific book.
appreciate it.
I really liked it. Yeah.
But it took so much. I could have never done it without the strike that put us out of work for 6 months.
Yeah.
It was very
Well,
fortunate.
that's what I did. You know, I had my game show, and I figured,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a union guy. You know, everybody else, I'm going to do a union show. This way, keep everybody happy. Okay. Strike. You know, so every other game show stayed on. Mine got taken off, and then I lost it because, because it's in the union. Like, there you go.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about Broadway, and like I couldn't believe that what he was saying was literal, but it is literal. Like, if you have a piece of lint on your suit, you can't pick it off. Like a union person from wardrobe has to be from the right department.
When I did the Tonight Show and we took it to New York City, we had some editing stuff in the room. And so, we'd shoot a jaywalking thing on the street or whatever. Or let's just do a rough edit so we see what we like. No, we had to have a guy come in. Big guy comes in with, some big giant fingers. Press stop. There you go. I'll play it again. You just saw it. No, just play again. We just saw it. Yeah, I mean, I'm arguing with this guy. I said, no, we want to see it again. And he had to press stop. Yeah.
I mean, that kind of stuff that goes so beyond the realm of what anyone, I think, normal person would call common sense. To me, that has been the downfall of the Democrats. Because I don't know if a Democrat is specifically responsible for the person who can't pick lint off your suit, but it's in the mind of people, and for not wrong reasons, they associate that with left-wing things, and they associate Republicans with more like freedom and libertarianism, getting the government off your back kind of stuff. That was Reagan's big thing.
Did you ever meet Reagan?
No, the 80s? Why? How could I meet Reagan in the 80s?
Well, I had dinner with him. He was a funny guy.
He was a funny guy.
He was. We're sitting talking.
Yeah, I bet he was.
He says, Jay, were you a good student? I said, no, Mr. President, I was a terrible student. I was just like, Jay, I wasn't a good student either. And every day I kick myself thinking how much further I could have gone if I just applied. And I thought that was the greatest.
That is great.
That's a great show.
It's a great humble brag.
Jay, you were like an Indian motorcycle. Is that right, Jay? Yeah. I had an Indian motorcycle. By golly, that thing was fast. Yeah, he was a fun guy.
Now, where was this? At some state dinner?
No, at the White House.
Well, he just invited you over?
No, I did one of the...
the correspondence dinner?
Yeah. Here's you go. I'm backstage. I'm waiting to go on. This general comes in,
General?
Well, some military guy.
I see.
Hey, you the comment? Come here. You know who that is? That's my commander-in-chief. You don't make fun of him. You don't degrade him. You don't want to. He's poking me like this. I go, well, I'm a comedian. No, you're not hearing it. He's just yelling at me, I'm thinking, well, okay. All right. I'm thinking, oh, geez, I got to change my act. What am I going to do, So then he leaves. And then what was his chief of staff? What was his name?
Jim Baker.
No, not Jim Baker.
Yes, he was. James Baker.
The second term, the other guy.
Casper Weinberger?
No.
Reagan. Donald Reagan.
The guy with two pegs.
Donald
Who was it?
Reagan. And Nancy had him fired.
No, it wasn't that.
Well, it was Jim.
No, he was somebody who had a bad toupee who was in the administration, and he comes in. He goes, come here. We need to go out there, nail Ronnie's ass to the wall. And I said, well, you know something? This general goes, screw him. You don't know what he's talking about. You make fun of that thing. You think it's his hair color? You think his hair's really black? The man's 74 years old. I go, well, just nail him to the wall. I'm thinking, oh, geez. Well, I honestly didn't know what to do. Because
what did you do?
Well, my opening joke was, I said, I want to congratulate Nancy Reagan I'm being named Humanitarian of the Year. I'm glad she beat out that conniving little bitch, Mother Teresa.
I remember you saying that
shit?
joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And boy, and Reagan fell off the chair. He thought that was so funny.
That is funny.
And he was, oh, okay. And I said, oh, it was okay.
It's funny, and it's not a slam on her.
No,
So
no.
they can laugh at
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But that is the single worst crowd in the world.
Oh.
I did it one year because, of course, they can't be seen laughing at the wrong thing.
Right,
and
right.
everything that would be any meaningful joke would have something that would get people upset. I did it one year, and I screwed up one line, and I was fumbling for it, and I finally just, under my breath, I went, oh, fuck it. And the next year, People magazine wrote about whoever was doing it that year and said, last year, Bill Maher delivered an obscenity-laced monologue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
One little fuck it.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the 90s, that was, I guess, pretty...
Yeah, it was a joke. It was like, I remember when I hosted Saturday Night Live. You'd be in the writer's room, and Rooney was with me. So we were writing jokes, huh? And we noticed the writers wouldn't laugh, but some writers would. And they said, yeah, they only laugh at their own jokes. Because it was so competitive. It was so competitive. You know, when you got picked up for like 13 weeks at a time, and if you don't score, you don't come back. And now it was a horrible place.
You still have writers?
Not anymore, no.
You don't use anybody?
Well, I don't need to now.
I know.
Yeah.
But no, and I mean, I've told this to 1,000 people. During the strike of 2007, which was different than this one,
Right.
they weren't that opposed to us going on, which we both did, but we just couldn't use writers.
Right.
And you wrote your own monologue
Right.
without any writers, and it didn't look different than when you had a gang of writers.
Well,
and I always say nobody else could do that but Jay Leno.
Well, I know that.
That is Jay, why are you always so compliment resistant?
Well, I guess it's...
I mean,
you know, I try not
honest.
to believe the good stuff or the bad stuff. That's how you get through show
Well, that's
business.
the good stuff.
You know, because when you host a Tonight Show, it's like people just, everybody's mad about something every day, you know. I mean, I'll tell you one of my favorite Tonight Show stories. I love Charlie Sheen. I don't want to be Charlie Sheen, but I love Charlie Sheen.
Right.
So one day, Charlie Sheen...
Well, you don't want to be him now. In the 80s,
what?
It probably was a lot of fun.
Here it is. I say, gee, it's almost 4 o'clock. Charlie Sheen's not here. Ring. Jay, it's Charlie Sheen on the phone. Charlie goes, Jay, man, I'm sorry, man. Limo got T-boned. You all right? He goes, yeah, I'm okay. Is Joe okay? Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, you just, I said, look, man, just take it easy. The needle has not out of the gospel. Just shaking up a little bit. It caught fire. They put it out. The whole thing. I'm thinking, all right, look, man, just take it. Look, we'll get somebody to fill. We'll get a comic. We'll get a comic to fill in. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah, so I said, Deb.
So wait, this happened multiple times because he was always so loaded?
No, this happened. This happened one day.
Okay.
So I said, Debbie, Charlie had an accident. I go, oh, you did? Yeah. Oh, okay. Something, check in, call the, whatever the thing, news. See, find out about Charlie's accident. So I don't hear anything. So I said, you got Joe's number, the limo driver? Hey, hello, Joe, Jay Leno. Joe, where you at? I'm sitting out in front of Charlie's house. He hasn't come out yet. What? Hey, so I call him. I go, dude, what are you, 9 years old? Like there's a monster under the bed? You really? The limo gets T-boned on the 101 freeway. It catches fire. You're not injured. You don't think that's a story?
And
yeah, hilarious.
And what did he say?
And he apologized, and I had him on the show, and he said he said the greatest thing. He said, I just like hookers and cocaine.
Yeah.
And I went, thank you for the most honest answer ever, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
hilarious. But
and there's nothing wrong with that. But he has done some things, and I'm amazed at how he is able to skate. And I'm not knocking him. I had a dinner with him once. He couldn't be more charming. I wish him well. But he has gotten away with things that are so much worse than other people have gotten canceled for.
Oh yeah.
And it's just because
it's a different time too.
No. The women saying he gave me AIDS knowingly. I mean, I can't think of a more cancelable thing than that. That wasn't that long ago. but it just shows it's not really what you do; it's how much they like you.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they just fucking like it. He had a Super Bowl commercial 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Could Louis C.K. get a Super Bowl commercial?
Right, yeah.
No, and Louis C.K. didn't do anything. I mean, this guy like hit hookers with other hookers, locks them in the closet, held a knife to one of his wife's throats, is on tape calling his second wife the N-word, and she's not black. I mean, that's pretty, and yet nothing. Because we like him.
Yeah.
And by the way, everybody should be treated that way
Yeah.
because he's not a bad guy
No,
at all.
No, I like
and we all
Charlie.
make mistakes, and he was just who he
That's
was.
what I like about show business. I could be around Charlie without being Charlie. And that's, Host Night Show is great because I could be in and amongst all of this and observe it as an observer and really enjoy it, as opposed to being in it. You know, I never went to any of P. Diddy's parties, you know, but it was funny to stand on the
Well,
outside.
that's not what I've heard.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me.
Well, what do you think's going to happen with that? Ooh,
I think he's probably go to prison for the rest of his life.
right.
You know, they cut you a break, and then you jump the shark. Okay, now you got this thing with a 13-year-old girl.
Right.
And boy, that's not good.
No.
That's not good.
I've been saying forever that the Me Too movement, which of course was a necessary and should be in anyone's mind welcome corrective, skipped over the one part of society where it was absolutely the worst. I mean, they got the people like in news, and they got the Harvey Weinsteins. You know, they got people. They went after like NPR. They got like 8 people, like conductors who were in their 70s, who like said the wrong thing. They went after that artist. What's his name? I forget. He's a famous artist, but he was in a wheelchair. And, you know, he was going to wheel after her. And I mean, you know, his dick didn't work. He didn't rape anybody.
Right.
Whatever he did. And he went away.
Right.
I mean, they just went, but the music industry, where it is worse than anything. And has
Well, you
been.
know what's interesting? I watched that Leonard Bernstein movie.
Me too, Maestro.
My show. I thought he did a great job.
Bradley Cooper did an amazing job. Not a, I know-
But here's my thing.
yes.
I'm watching this movie. Okay, that's great, and I like it in Leonard Bernstein. So he winds up having sex with his student, but he really loved
Gay
the
sex, for people who don't know.
kid. Right, gay sex. But it was okay because he loved the kids. And I go, really? Well, how does he get away with that? How do you pull that off? I was like, well, wait a minute. I mean, shouldn't he be accountable for?
Oh,
I go, what did I miss here? You know.
no. I mean, the difference in standards of what was seen as, acceptable or even heroic. You know, I mean, James Bond in the 1969 version, he punches Diana Rigg in the face heroically because she wants to come with him on the mission,
Right.
but it's too dangerous and she won't listen to reason. So he
You know,
knocks her out.
you
As
ever-
if there are no medical repercussions to actually inducing a state of unconsciousness. I mean, she went into the blue tent.
Did you know him at all, Sean Connery? Did you ever
Jay,
meet him?
you are so ridiculous. Do I? Yeah, me and Sean.
No, I don't know. Well, I'll tell you something
I
funny.
mean, I've got tons
People
of
don't know. He was Mr. Universe, third runner-up, 1953.
Mr. Universe.
Yeah, third runner-up.
He's a bodybuilder.
He was in 1953.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, Mr. Universe, third runner-up.
It must have been different in those days. He wasn't like super overdone.
No, they didn't do it in those. In those
They
days,
didn't.
you were just
Right, you were
you know,
just good looking.
a beefy-looking guy, you know.
Right.
But he
Yeah, I
was,
could see that.
He was a longshoreman, and he was a tough guy.
Yeah, tough guy.
And he was doing extra work. And he was in a movie with Lana Turner.
Lana Turner.
And he
wow.
was flirting with Lana Turner. And Lana Turner was going out with Johnny Stompanato. You ever hear that name?
Back to the mafia.
Yeah, Johnny Stompanato. Okay.
What family was he?
So Johnny Stompanato, I don't know. Johnny Stompanato hears about this guy flirting with his girlfriend. So he goes down to the studio. And he puts a gun to Sean Connery's head. And Sean Connery takes the gun, empties the bullet out, smashes him in the head and goes, "You don't bring a gun to my workplace." And just throws him.
just like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Untouchables.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the line he had.
He was, when I would have him on The Tonight Show, he'd go, "Gee, gee, what's the latest filthy joke going about, gee? And when I'd tell him, he'd laugh like a pirate. He'd laugh like that to points when the newsroom would, hey, shut up down there. You tell Sean Connery to shut up, you know. He was the only star ever took a shower in those, you know, little showers they had?
Yeah.
Nobody. He was the only one. Oh, Scotland! In this screaming and yelling. Oh.
Apropos about who they cancel and don't just because they like them, he, on a Barbara Walters, I think it was, interview, said outright, sometimes a woman needs a good slap.
Right.
You gotta slap
Hello,
them.
pushy.
And it was like, oh, Sean, you could slap me.
Right.
You know, if it was,
That's what it was.
Sean, Wallace Shawn who said this, it would not have been funny.
Right.
It would not have been.
But he was the most dangerous James Bond. He was really a tough.
Oh.
I never got Roger Moore as the Pillsbury
Roger
Bond.
Moore, who was a lovely man,
He
who
is a lovely man.
once bought me dinner with about 8 people just because I was with a party, I guess, that knew him. But
Yeah.
I remember he picked up the check and I'd never met him and he was charming as fuck. But yeah, he shit the bed as James
You know, I had
Bond.
him on
But it
time.
wasn't all his fault. It was the era
Yeah.
that he did it in. And you know, just like you, it's funny. We were looking at the tribute I wrote to Johnny Carson in 2012 for Newsweek. I don't know if you remember this.
Right.
And I said, look it up today because Jay's coming over. And, you know, it was a nice tribute to Johnny, but I did say at the end of it, Jay Leno was the right guy for now. You know, Johnny would not, if Jay went up against Johnny now, Jay would win. And if it was 1965, Johnny would win. He was right for his era, and Jay is right for this era.
Right.
And like Sean Connery was right for his era. It was dangerous. It was the 60s.
See, the idea was
and Roger Moore was the 70s when things were lame, and they wanted a lame James Bond.
You take a thug and you put him in a Savile Row suit, so he gives off that danger. You know, I had Roger Moore,
which was recaptured by Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig did a great job.
The sense of danger.
He did a great job.
Like this guy, and I had dinner with him and a few people one night, and you did get that sense of danger that, you know, you might say something that amused him, but if you didn't, he might punch you in the face.
Right. I had Roger Moore on the Tonight Show. I said, where do you go on vacation? He goes, I'd like to go to India. India? Yeah, how often do you go there? Oh, every weekend. I say, you go to India every weekend? Yes, of course. I look at Debbie and Debbie's like, oh, isn't that rather involved? No, good heavens, no, not at all. That's quite a long flight. Oh, no, we drive. I said, you drive to India?
You can't. From where? Where were you?
I know.
From Los Angeles?
And then, what he thought he was saying was Indio, California.
Indio.
But, you know, we're sitting there going, what? You know, what?
That's hysterical.
This edit, you know. I'll tell you one of the great edits of all time. We had Bob Hope was almost 100. I had him on the show.
Oh.
And he didn't like to wear his glasses or his hearing aids. He goes, Jay, tell you what, you asked me the 10 questions. I got 10 jokes. You just say the question. I got the jokes memorized. We go down the line. Okay, great. Bob, how you doing? Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Big laugh. Hey, Bob, how's that? Da-da-da-da. Big laugh. So on the third, and I go, da-da-da-da. And I go, oh, it was funny. Da-da-da-da. Okay. Now I'm one joke ahead, you know, and it's, so I said, no, let me ask you, da-da-da-da. I said, okay, da-da-da-da. So we had to edit. It was like a nightmare. If you want to see something fun,
oh my God,
when you watch some of the Bob Hope shows, one day I'm in the hall. I see guys carrying what I think is a plate glass window. It's a giant cue card. Just has the word "hello" on it. Bob wouldn't wear his glasses.
Come on.
No, he wouldn't wear his glasses. So but when you watch,
he couldn't remember hello.
No, that was it's just they flip him.
He couldn't ad lib that.
Apparently not. Johnny didn't think he could. But here's the funny part: they would drop the cue cards. They would drop the cue cards like this. And his hair would go. So when you watch the monologue, after every joke, you see his hair go like this.
It must have been a wig at that point.
Yeah, well, the hair would just go up from the cue card dropping down. No, Johnny did not like Hope.
I still can't get past he can't remember hello.
No,
Come on, man.
That was on the cue card. Just a big hello.
So I hosted in 1994,
Yeah.
politically incorrect, had been on about a year. So I got the kind of job you get when you're like new, or you're kind of like entering stardom. And it was a 2-hour benefit for the Red Cross.
Right.
And we filmed it in Burbank, and lots of stars of the era, Salt and Pepper, I remember were on, and the whole range of show, because who is against the Red Cross?
Right. Right.
And Bob Hope was also booked for this. And they said, whenever he shows up, we stop tape and we just do him.
Right.
And we were all like, okay, he's 94 or whatever.
right.
This is reasonable.
Yeah.
So he comes in, he's telling me, normal. I was sitting, it was going to be a discussion like this with two chairs. He said, Bob wants to make an entrance. Normally we would just place the guest.
Right.
So I said, Bob, whatever. I mean, I'm just a little monkey and starting in show business.
Right.
And Bob Hope, whatever he wants to do. And so they placed him there. Like this.
What?
I mean, he just moved. His entrance was like 2 feet. Saying, Bob wants to make an entrance. So he just like, that was his entrance. They placed him right outside where he was sitting.
Yeah.
He could only make it that far.
Yeah.
I just thought-
Johnny would be furious because Bob Hope could not ad lib at all.
Oh, I talked to Johnny
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Oh, yeah.
what I was on once with Bob Hope.
Yeah.
And Johnny was one of the great memories of my life on that show, backstage bitching
Right.
about how much he fucking hated Bob Hope.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he was the 800-pound gorilla at NBC.
Right. Right.
So he would just demand, and even Johnny, partly out of respect and partly out of
Right.
Bob Hope also was doing specials every year for the
Right,
network, and
right.
I assume they still did well
Right.
because he was an icon. And so even Johnny couldn't, and he wouldn't do a pre-interview, and he was super boring.
Right.
I remember once, time I was on with him, and they just took a bunch of stills from his career. And so Johnny would hold it up and then Bob could comment on it. There was one where Bob's in a sketch and he's dressed as the Pope, the big Pope. And Johnny holds it up and Bob goes, yeah, there's me as the Pope.
Right.
That was this all brilliant commentary. Yeah, we got that from the picture, Bob. We were hoping for a little more.
Yeah.
No, Johnny was funny that night. Just always just demanding and not funny. And I'm talking to me. He didn't know. You knew me from a comic doing the
I know.
show.
No,
but
he liked to talk to comics.
he did.
He did. Comics.
I
the
could talk
magician.
to him backstage
Yeah. Yeah.
before the show when he was waiting to do the monologue. He wasn't like me. Before I go on, nobody talked to me.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Right. Right.
He was like, no, he wanted to talk.
That's interesting.
Did I ever tell you the story about the last time I was on and I come out after, with my bags over my shoulder because you brought your wardrobe
Right.
and he's in his Corvette in his parking spot, which is the first one, of course,
Right.
and it's not starting. Did I ever tell you this?
No.
Oh my God! So his car is not starting, and so the few staff members nervously, like they did it, but
Right.
it's like the boss's car won't start. And cheeky 28-year-old or whatever I was, I put my head in the window and I said, oh, wow, this is tough. Too bad Jay Leno isn't here. He knows everything about cars. And he looked up and he went, yeah, we'll see how much he knows about television.
Yeah.
Because you were about 3 months away
I
from
know,
to taking over. And it was like, it was funny, but it was icy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We'll see how much he knows about television.
Well, when I started, they had me doing live.
Hmm.
We taped at 8:30 at night,
Oh, really?
and we did it live.
What?
Because
Like in 92?
Yeah, because the Olympics are on,
Oh,
and with no cue cards, so I had to memorize the whole monologue.
why not?
So because it was too awkward or something, just because we're live and it just memorized the thing, and it kind of throw me a curveball. It's tricky. Ever tell you
Boy.
about my?
I could not do that, Iron J.
I get a
Right.
call from Gorbachev.
Gorbachev.
Gorbachev wants to have dinner. All right,
Your Rolodex is amazing.
here you go. So we go to have dinner with Gorbachev. And he doesn't really speak English. Or if he did,
He doesn't
So he
speak
had-
English at all.
Yes, he has an interpreter.
Yes.
So they go, this is Grisha Gorbachev. And I said, oh, well, she obviously married an older man,
As a joke.
Yeah, so, and she scowls. Gotta go. My husband is not an old man. No, I didn't mean that. I meant you look so youthful. You must have been. I said you must have been a teen bride. I was not a child when I married him. Okay. This is not going well. Yeah.
Well, wait. So why did Gorbachev?
Because he wanted $50,000 for the Gorbachev Foundation.
This is after he was president.
This is after he left.
After he left office.
And I said, I don't even give money to American politicians. It's just not something I.
He was one of the greatest men of the 20th century.
Interesting.
Pulled off similar to de Klerk in South Africa in '89, pulled off a revolution that was relatively bloodless. That's a pretty hard thing to do.
He told me a Gorbachev joke, which was pretty good. You want to hear his Gorbachev? This is a joke.
No, it's like, I don't know why I even try.
This is a joke about him.
To ever be more interesting about something than you are. You always have a better.
No, I want to tell you.
And then Jesus Christ said to me.
This is Gorbachev's joke.
Yes.
Two guys are standing in line for bread. They've been there 7 hours. One guy goes, this is ridiculous, standing in 7 lines for bread. I wish somebody would kill Gorbachev. Kill Gorbachev. They should I kill him? Kill Gorbachev. The whole crowd would kill Gorbachev. Should I go kill him? Yeah, go kill him. Yeah, kill him. Yeah. So the guy leaves. Comes back 5 hours later, the crowd goes, you killed Gorbachev? No, that line was longer than this one. That's a pretty good joke.
That is a pretty good joke.
Yeah, but Gorbachev told the joke about himself, so I thought it was pretty funny.
But back to what
I
was saying that was very important. One of the most important men of the 20th century, and there's not a plaque or a signpost in his honor. This was a great man. A man of guts and vision.
Yeah, but it fell under his. Did Berlin Wall fall under him?
What I'm saying is, like, his approval rating in Russia is like 3%.
Yeah, right.
They plainly were under one of the worst systems ever.
Right.
I mean, communism.
Yeah.
To this day, Russians, I think, and I say this with all love for Russians, are fucked up as anyone would be from the cynicism that is implanted in you when you live under a communist regime.
Yeah.
I know the kids today, some of them think it would be cool to give communism another try. Right. But you know what, kids? Things happened before you were born. I know you think they don't count because you weren't alive, but they did. And we actually learned things from them. And one of them was communism doesn't work.
Right.
And it makes people very, very cynical. And they still are. And he's the one who gave them, look, is Putin a lot better? No, but at least the life there is not as bad as it was under communism, even under Putin, who's a dictator.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. I mean, they're certainly more prosperous.
I had dinner with Zelensky in Belgium.
Of course you did.
No, I'm just telling you. So it's me, Zelensky, it's the president of Poland.
When and why?
Why?
Why? Yes, you can't drop a name like Zelensky and not say why.
You know how we got.
We were having dinner with the Mertzes, and I thought I'd invite Zelensky.
He was a comedian. You know that.
Yes, of course. Had a show.
He had a TV show, and his show was called "What If the Average Man Became President?" Something like that.
Amazing.
Yeah,
life imitating art.
Yeah, and he was so popular, he ran and he won.
Right.
So I go over and I'm having dinner with him. We were in Belgium.
Belgium?
Belgium.
He was in Belgium?
He was in
Is this before the war?
No, this is after he got elected president.
But before the war?
Before the war.
Before the war.
About a year before the war.
Okay.
So two of Putin's guys are at the dinner. Poland, who's the other one?
Putin's guys, meaning ambassadors or?
No, just Putin's guys. Because Zelensky was talking about not getting gas from Russia anymore because it was too expensive. He wanted to get it from other sources. And Poland is talking and the other people are talking. And the two Russian guys go, it would be a shame if you did not get it from Russia because there could be an accident and you would suddenly have no gas and you would have explosions everywhere. And I just went, Hey, pass the potatoes there.
Why
would
are
please?"
you there at this conversation?
It's a long story,
But one that needs to be told.
not really, not
It-
really. But
really?
it was just interesting. It was
It's
just,
it is
it
very
was- it-
interesting why you were there.
It was just a fascinating.
Maybe it's
evening.
Putin's people who keep throwing you down a mountain.
I
Maybe
think
that's who's
that's
after
what
you.
it is. That's
And by the way, when two men our age have a conversation
Mhm.
and talk about getting gas from other sources, they're just going to clip that and make it look like a fart joke.
yeah, I
okay?
guess you're
So, you know, I would.
because it's your show, but you can control that. You
Well,
forget that. You forget.
No, I'm just an employee of Bill Maher Production.
Right.
I-
That's it.
yeah.
It just does. It does seem like this is the kind of, this room is one of those places where people go, I don't know, I woke up and I had no clothes on, but there were no windows. I couldn't see anything. I didn't know where I was. It just looks like that kind of room, doesn't it? Where the girl is confused.
I hope so.
Huh?
And
Yeah.
this certainly was the design.
Yeah.
I mean, casinos are built along those lines, are they not? Isn't everything in a casino meant to make you forget that
I
there's
guess
no
that's-
clocks,
No clogs.
no air?
Right, no air.
So that they're plying you with liquor.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's hard to find the door.
Right.
I mean, that's all on purpose, is
But
it
it's kind
not?
of like Hef's place where you go.
So, well, I have the Playboy sign over there. Playmates at Play. That used to be on the driveway.
I
bought-
went there once. Schwarzenegger and I went together on Playboy's 25th
Where was Zelensky that
the
night?
25th wedding, 25th anniversary of Playboy, 1976. Schwarzenegger had just done Hercules in America, whatever that stupid movie was. So he and I went to the mansion, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do 2 scenes." Big guy. It was like the dumbest place. It was so not what you thought. It was, look what James Franciscus gave me. It's like, it's like girls would show you, gifts they'd gotten from wealthy old guys, and it was just. So Hef says, "Jay, you going to stay for lunch, or you and I want lunch with the girls?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, go in the dining room." So we're in the dining room. There's no chairs, a giant dining room table. There's about 7 or 8 girls, and the butler comes in with a garbage can size thing of Kentucky Fried Chicken, puts it on the table. Everybody just grabs a piece of chicken, and I said, "Wow, this is just the Playboy lifestyle." I mean, it was just like the most bizarre.
It was a bizarre place. It was fun. I mean, the years from about 97 is when he came back out to play, as he used to say.
Yeah.
He was married to Kimberly Hefner from 89 to that era. And then 97, and they changed the sign, the one that I bought at auction there. It was Playmates at Play forever. And then when he was married, it was Children at Play.
Oh.
And the parties were dull, of course. And then 97, he gets divorced, comes back out to play. Remember, he had Sandy, Mandy, and Randy, or he had 3 girlfriends with names that 2 of them were twins, which was a little creepy.
Yeah, it was just not. You think it would be interesting. It wasn't. It was kind of sad. I mean,
Well-
it was a beautiful house. It would look like a frat house inside. It was all dented
Yeah.
and chipped, and and
No, and people say that one reason he died, well, I mean, he was 91, but it was mold infested. He was up there breathing in mold, which is like one of the worst things you can do, and especially if you're elderly.
and it was his mold. Yeah.
I was there once and got saved kind of like by him because they were about to throw me out because there was like always a lack of bathroom space. And there was a bathroom in his office. They let people use it. And there was a line, kind of a long line. And I was on it. I remember a guy came up to me, offered me to cut the line. I was like, you know what? I may be a prick in a lot of ways, but I am just not ever going to cut a line. We all, whether we're a celebrity or not, we all have the same kidney.
Right.
So-
Right.
And then a girl cut the line. And everybody let her because she was a hot chick.
Right.
And I went up there. I was like, no. And she was very upset that I even bothered. And she wouldn't leave. She was about to go in. And I bodily carried her out. I mean, who was I in the night? I always say, if I write a memoir, it's going to be called Who Is in My Body
Right.
That Was Doing These Things.
Yeah.
So I carry, and then, of course, security comes because
Right,
Bill
yeah.
Maher can't move.
Yeah.
And she's screaming. But I thought it was the right thing to do. Does this make me a superhero? I think it could be a franchise for a guy who throws people, who cut lines.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it can't be worse than Ant-Man.
yeah.
So they were about to throw me out, but Hef really liked me. I liked him. I never really talked to him for more than 5 minutes at a
Just had
time.
nothing to say. You know, he would always call.
No, that's not true. He just always had a handful of pussy.
Well, but he always wanted to be on the Tonight Show.
What?
He always called me.
Oh, of course.
He
Sure.
wanted to
Why
book
wouldn't
himself.
he?
Yeah.
And you didn't do it.
No, because his pre-interview, he had nothing to say. I mean, he couldn't talk about, well, you know, the Playboy philosophy. Talking about Playboy philosophy.
It's a shame because in his heyday, he was an interesting guy who pushed the envelope on a
Well,
lot of social issues
yes, he
that are
did.
very
Yes, he-
dear and near to the woke today.
I worked the Playboy clubs. Playboy clubs were the first clubs where the
Really?
where the black entertainers could walk in the front door and walk out the front
Right.
door. Everybody else had to enter through the back or through the kitchen.
Unbelievable.
You know, he treated Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory was a very
Yes.
controversial.
No, he was very ahead on homosexual issues,
Yeah, yeah.
women's liberation,
Yeah.
although you could say the
Well,
reverse, and they do,
yeah, yeah.
but I don't think so. And
But
also
especially on racism.
race
Because Dick,
Yes.
Dick Gregory did jokes that he couldn't do anywhere else. in
and
America.
drugs.
Yeah.
He was a true tribune of liberal causes.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember cabaret cards? You see, you're that much younger than
cabaret
me.
cards?
When I was a kid,
No.
I came in right after Lenny Bruce had left the scene. I did my first show in '69, and now prior to '69, you had a different Supreme Court. I think it was the Warren Court, and suddenly everything was legal. But like, if you got on stage and you said "fuck" on stage, a cop would come up, ask for your cabaret card, which was a license to perform, and tear it up. You don't work in New York anymore.
Cabaret card.
Yeah, it was a cabaret, meaning you could perform on stage and you had certain things you could
And
say.
who gave these out? The Men's Hotel?
No, I'm not sure how. I don't know whether it was AGVA or what are they.
Agba.
There was a stage. There was a stage union. No, it was different. But people think like, oh, now you can't say anything. But then you couldn't say anything. I mean, you got arrested. Yeah, that's what Lenny Bruce got arrested for.
Oh, Lenny Bruce had 9 trials.
Yeah.
9 trials. I've often said about Lenny Bruce, never made me laugh, really.
Right.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's just honest. You can't lie about what makes you laugh.
Right.
But as far as like whose shoulders am I standing on?
Well, yeah, yeah.
People like that. And not just like that,
Yeah.
him specifically,
Yeah.
who, denigrated religion.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the luxury of being able to denigrate religion my whole career
Right.
without repercussions, really.
Right. Right.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
And also it shows, the difference between cultures because I can denigrate the religions here, Christianity, Judaism, at will. There are limits to how much you can do that with Islam.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not right.
Right.
I mean, I said it years ago.
Right.
The Book of Mormon, great, but you couldn't do the Book of Muhammad.
Right.
I mean, they would blow up the theater on night 2.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But the party after
And that
night
was the
one-
liberal night, too. They give you the first night. that was the reform.
Well, you know what? I am not pre-hating this administration. I didn't vote for them.
Well, you know what I like about it? I like the fact that somebody won the popular vote and the electoral vote. My fear was that we'd have another election where there's 1,500 votes between the winner and the loser, and they'd be throwing rocks back and forth, and the whole system would go down the drain. It was an honest election. There wasn't any skullduggery going on.
No, but I heard, he definitely won the election, but I heard that when all the votes finally did come in, he didn't win the popular vote.
Oh,
A lot of people are saying it, Jay.
I don't know. I don't-
Whatever it was,
Right.
it's not nearly as important as the fact that the only reason it was a smooth transition is because
Because he won.
the one party that still believes in conceding elections lost.
Right.
If it wasn't, this country would be rioting now.
Right.
So people who say, well, the system held, it didn't.
Yeah.
The system didn't held. It just happened that this went down in a way that and boy, did it go down in a way that we're not upset about. The first time when he won, there was all the pussy riots, the pussy hats and in the street. And now everybody's just like, Well, I'm just, that's where I was at for a long time. I'm just not going to lose my shit
Right.
in term 2. I'm going to see what happens. He's not going to get my mind the way he did the first time. I don't have high hopes that someone who has that many like problems with his mind is going to be able to navigate a good course. But I don't know. I love that he has people around him like Musk,
Yeah.
who is not an idiot. He's the smartest guy in the world.
He is a really
Tesla plus
smart guy.
Starlink plus SpaceX plus,
Let me tell you about him. He came to my garage in 2007.
of course he
No,
did.
he brought the Tesla.
With Gorbachev.
I'm the car guy. He brought the Tesla Roadster. He brought the first one. You remember the 2-seater electric car?
I had it.
Okay. Oh, you have one of those?
It was horrible.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
It was so small. It was this far off the ground. It's amazing I wasn't killed in it. And you couldn't use it for what it was great for, which was speed in a hurry, because unless the road was super smooth, you'd destroy this car. But also, like, just to get into it, it was like a spacecraft. If I had a hard-on, I couldn't fit in this thing.
Well, I didn't find that to be a problem. But here's what I'm telling you.
And that's how we're different.
He said to me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build these cars. I'm going to build charging stations all up and down the coast. And people can charge your car for free. And I'm going, yeah, right. This is, can keep dreaming, pal.
But he didn't build the stations yet.
He was building them at the same time. He was acquiring the property.
No, they're too popular.
I mean, every other manufacturer, GM, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, oh, you can charge anywhere. No, he knew that wasn't true.
Right.
I went down to SpaceX with him, and he says to me, what we're doing is we're going to have a rocket land on Mars every 3 days. I said, well, how are you going to do that? He goes, well, come here. So he takes me into the warehouse. There was hundreds of rockets, like as tall as the Empire State Building, lined up, ready to go. I mean, he had all this in 3 years. That area was a swamp. 3 years later, they're firing rockets into space. I mean, it's an amazing guy. We're walking around and scientists are going, Elon, excuse me, could you check the trajectory? Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Then he goes back to talking with me, and I go, oh, okay. I mean, he is brilliant. And he knows manufacturing.
Well, I can top that, Jay. Bill Nye and the Science Guy and I were
Bill Nye, yes. I can
together.
see you and Bill Nye. Eight Nals.
No, I mean, I've said this for the longest time about Elon Musk. Let's not piss off our smartest people this badly. I mean, here's an interesting thing. He and Joe Rogan were both pretty far left not that long ago, and they got driven into the Trump camp. A place I might have followed to a lot of people's thinking, but I won't, because they're not political thinkers, really. They're interesting people and they're smart people, but I don't think they appreciate that Trump doesn't believe really in the conceding of elections, which is the linchpin of our country. So that's a no-brainer to ever be for him. And that party doesn't really believe in what's going on environmentally, although I have high hopes now that people like Kennedy are in the administration. But, oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
You were talking about...
it was so important to me.
I should have...
Oh, Musk?
Musk, yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm just glad he's there. And the fact that he is, playing this role as Robin to Trump's Batman, it can only be good because, first of all, Trump, the last thing he said about the environment was that it was a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese to get advantage. And okay, well, Musk doesn't believe that.
You had the great joke. He's going to replace your environment with something better.
Something terrific.
Yeah. That was a great joke. I love that joke.
Oh, I'm flattered that you remember.
No, I remember that joke.
Yeah. Well, that's what you were. We both remember jokes. I remember jokes really well.
He had that boring company.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When he had the prototype Cybertruck, he said, "Come on down, drive it." So he and I drive the Cybertruck, and I said, "How's the Boring Company going?" He's going, "Good. We got a tunnel. Well, let's go check it out. Where is it? It's down El Segundo or something." Okay, we drive down. We pull up. Guard comes out. Hold on. He goes, "I'm Elon Musk." "Oh, sorry, Mr. Can we want to see if the Cybertruck will fit in the tunnel?" Okay, so we got a 1/4 inch on each side. So I'm driving. And we go. I said, how far underground are we? He said 60 stories. I said 60 stories. And I thought it was like, like a subway. You're like, 15 feet below. And I said, what if an earthquake? And he said, where'd you rather be in an earthquake? On the ocean or in the ocean? And I thought, well, yeah, in the ocean, because in the ocean, you'll do this. On the top of the ocean, you do this.
Wait, I'm lost.
What
What, this thing is under the ocean?
No, what I'm saying is we're 60 stories down.
In El Segundo.
Deep. Okay.
Yeah. So why would you be in the ocean?
No, what I said was, what happens if there's an earthquake? And he said, it's much safer. Where'd you rather be in an earthquake? On a ship on the ocean or in a submarine in the ocean? In a submarine in the ocean, you'd move around a little bit.
Oh, I see.
But you wouldn't be thrown violently. You see what I'm saying?
But the earth above you would not collapse upon you in an earthquake?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. Well, again, I don't know these.
But anyway.
My guess is
so we drive this tunnel and we go about 2 miles. And he goes, this is as far as we've gotten. We got to take an elevator up here. You pull into the elevator. Okay. He goes out, he presses the elevator. We go up 6 stories. We come up in some guy's backyard. And there's like a broken Weber grill and a couple of bicycles, and the kids are playing. I go, hey, Mr. Musk, hey, how you doing, Charlie? How you doing? He said, we'll be out here next week. We'll fill this one in. We're going to move it down another 2 miles out. Oh, okay, no problem. But he had this more, and he's just making this tunnel. I mean, ultimately, it turned out not to be a viable thing.
So he negotiated with the people who lived in this house to allow him to...
Yeah, he negotiated with everybody to allow them to use the area. Yeah, and with the electric Tesla, since you're in a tunnel, you don't need the fans to pull out the heat or the smoke or the carbon monoxide, because it's not.
Well, this must be fairly recently, because that car is very recent.
Well, it's been around for about 5 years.
It has?
No, he had a prototype. You have a prototype. It takes years to develop.
So you were in the prototype?
Yeah, we're in the prototype, yeah.
What do you think of that car? It's ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. Trucks have looked the same since 1918. Cab in the front. The only different one was the Corvair truck, which had the engine in the back. That was a big failure. So that scared everybody. Let's just build trucks that always look the same. And people are comfortable with that. Even when you look at the electric truck, the Ford Lightning, it has the man-size door handles, and it has all the things that make it feel like a macho truck, as opposed to a Tesla where you press the button and the electric door thing opens you up.
Yeah, it's supposed to. That's the problem with that shit. It's glitchy. Everything works in theory.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I was in one just the other day.
One of the Cybertrucks?
And we couldn't open the window. I was in the back seat,
yeah.
And everybody was like laughing because we couldn't open. It was Ari Emanuel's Cybertruck. We were going to the Laker game. And I couldn't. I said, can I open the window? Well, a lot of smart people in that car could not figure out how to open a window. That's my problem with this kind of shit. It's like...
Did they get it open eventually?
After the game.
Oh,
they figured it out while it took the entire ride down there, and the
smart people in that truck.
I'm telling you. So that's my issue with that.
But I'll tell you the genius of the Cybertruck. General Motors has the Hummer, which is an electric truck. It is 2 tons heavier than the Cybertruck, because the Cybertruck uses Elon's lightweight battery.
I just don't like the design.
No, I don't like the design either.
You don't.
No, but that's because we're old. Everybody under 40. No, it isn't. Everybody under 40, it looks like Star Wars. This is kind of cool. It looks like something
you're right.
Stormtroopers would drive.
You're right.
Okay. People over 40, you want a truck like Steve McQueen drove.
No, it just looks creepy. It just looks totalitarian. Well, that's like the robots overlords have taken over.
That's the idea of good design. Half the people hate it. But you're not selling it.
Really, nobody hated the iPhone.
No, but you're only selling it to the half that like it. A Toyota.
How's it doing? Is anyone buying it?
Yeah, they got 250,000 orders. I think they slowed down now. I think everybody that wants one has gotten one at this point. But there's quite a lot of them out there. It's very hard to build. Stainless steel is very difficult to mold. You can't. And it tends to yellow, and there's all kinds of problems.
I like the old school pleasures,
The old school. The men and the women were glad of it. Wooden ships, iron men. That's Bill Maher, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. Yes, I like the old school.
What's that? Me coughing because I'm
Coughing.
smoking.
That's it.
Jay, step up to the cool, refreshing flavor of
That's right.
Camel.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with a good Camel, unfiltered.
That's my favorite thing. I love watching Mad Men. What's this cancer nonsense that the cigarette
You watch Mad Men?
I love Mad Men.
Such a great show.
Isn't that the great
Oh,
show? I watched it
the
twice.
greatest.
I thought it was the best show.
Yeah, I should do. I should watch it again. It's been a long enough time.
Oh, it's good. It's really
Oh,
good.
it's so good. I mean, the writing, the acting. I mean,
Yeah.
John is perfect in the lead.
And just how much things cost. Secretaries make $45 a week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but also the value system. I mean,
yeah.
I love the storyline. Well, there were, he was always cheating, of course,
Right.
the wife. And one storyline was with the Jewess.
Yeah. Right.
The Jewish woman who was the scion of the department store, because in that era, and of course this is all accurate, I mean, Jews had their own department store.
Right.
I mean, these people who today who think, that racism is worse than ever, it's just another one of those silly things that people say. They go, you know what? People were actually alive for this. That's not to say that there isn't work to be done. There always will be work to be done. But
Yeah. Well, I always
it's
say, yeah.
when my parents got married, a Jew and a Catholic in 1951, that was way more controversial
Oh, yeah.
than an interracial marriage today.
Yeah. But I always say what used to be, what is now against the law, used to be the law. That's the difference.
Well, interesting.
An Asian could not marry a white person in the 50s.
Right.
Yeah.
Miscegenation.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, 1967 was
Yeah.
the Loving case in the Supreme Court, and before then,
yeah.
it was not even legal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a shame that the progressives don't seem to want to sell progress, because it is, after all, the product that they're supporting and should be selling.
Mark Twain said, "I like progress. It's change I don't like." And it's a great quote.
And did you know him? Did you have dinner with him?
Didn't know.
Jay?
Didn't
Did
know.
Zelensky come by
Didn't
for
know
that?
Mark. Didn't know Mark.
No?
No.
Oh, come on. Not even-
Sadly, never had a chance.
Not
Never
even
had a
high
chance.
school?
Not even in high
Oh, my
school.
God.
No. This is a very sad time.
Well, Jay, what's your next accident coming up?
I don't know. But
We-
it's great for tickets. People love when rich people get set on fire or have accidents. I mean, they love it. I mean, it's great. People think it's fantastic. It sells tickets.
So you say you do 170 dates now.
Yeah,
You used to do 250.
yeah.
But you must see that there's a pattern there, that you are doing less, that is a scaling of back.
Well, I'm doing a little bit less now because I'm taking care of my wife,
Right.
stuff like that. So I come home every night and I try to fly
Right,
home.
you never stayed over places. You would do the
No,
gig
no.
and come home.
I would go to Italy on Friday, do the show Saturday, and be home again Sunday.
Italy?
Yeah.
For the Pope?
No, not for the Pope. I'm not Catholic.
What was he like, Jay?
I don't know the Pope.
Oh, I don't believe that. You had a night. Come on.
Do you know the Pope? You know the Pope was a bouncer when he was 22 years old?
Of course you know
No,
that.
he was. He was a
Which
bouncer.
Pope? The Pope now? Pope
Yeah,
Francis?
Pope Francis. He's a big guy in Argentina. He's the Argentinian one.
Of course.
He was a bouncer.
Francis
But
Bergoglio.
he quit the job because he wasn't mean enough. It was then later given to a woman who became a nun, and she got the job.
Is that right?
But-
Now, how do you know that?
That's a joke.
Oh.
The nun became a bouncer. You see. No, but he was a bouncer. He was a bouncer.
I don't get that joke.
Okay, let me explain the joke.
Yeah,
to you.
just explain that to me.
Okay, Pope Francis
Yeah.
quit being a bouncer because he wasn't mean enough.
Yeah. So a nun
The-
being
the-
meaner.
The,
Oh,
the job was then given to a woman who later became a nun. Yeah, you see, 'cause she would.
I would just say it was given to a nun. There it is. Nuns were mean. I had nuns. I went to Catholic. I went to
Yeah,
catechism.
see, I never did any of that. Sorry.
You didn't?
No, I'm not Catholic. No,
Leno?
I'm not Catholic. My mother's from Scotland. My mother wouldn't. My
yes.
mother would not.
What were they, Calvinist or?
No, we really weren't much. My dad, when I was a kid, my dad put his bathrobe on, drive me up to church and go in there and listen to the fella. That's what my dad would say. Go in there and listen to the fella. The
That's
preacher.
the priest?
Yeah. No, not priest. They're just minister. And I would pretend to go in. I go down the basement and play with the soda machine. You know,
But your father wasn't Catholic, Leno?
my father was, but not practicing.
I see.
No,
And your mother didn't care
no,
about the
no.
Protestant.
God, no,
Really?
none of that.
So you had none of formal
No, I had
religious.
no formal. No,
But that was weird in that era.
so I
People-
like everybody. So that's all right.
Yeah, it has always been such a contradiction that you can absolutely have certainty about who God is. And then when somebody doesn't agree on that, here in this country anyway, we're like, oh, that's cool.
You know something? I had a foster kid for a number of years. She had spina bifida, and she lived to be 21 years old. And she's from the South.
Does that kill you that early?
Well, yeah. I met her when she was 6, and when she was 6, she was cute, and we became good friends. And as she got older, and her body got more deformed, you know, she wasn't the cute poster kid anymore. So I got to know her family better and helped take care of her. And they were very religious. And I would go down there, like we would go to McDonald's, and we would have to hold hands and pray while the food came. And then one time we're in there, and the Madonna song, Like a Virgin, comes on the radio. And we had to go outside until the song ended. And I'm thinking, well, this is stupid.
Why?
Well, just because it's a Madonna song. I don't know. Okay, but then I went to their house, and these people, they adopted every kid nobody wanted. All the kids from other countries.
Like Mia Farrow.
Huh?
Like Mia Farrow.
Well, yeah, I guess you say, but they
You
had
had 12
they
of
had
them.
Vietnamese biracial kids that
Yeah.
had mentally retarded.
That's Mia
to
Farrow.
scream. And they loved these kids, and they took care of them. And I said, I'm not doing this. They live their religion. They're better than I am. So I just respect it for what I go. God bless it. The people that don't live it, like the Jimmy Swaggart types, but these people, they lived it, and they took everybody in, and they took care of them, and they raised them.
I'm not sure Mia Farrow loved them in the right way, but that's another story. But Jay, you know what? I can top you anytime. I've adopted over 100 strippers.
Really?
You know that from all over the country.
All over the
and I have changed lives from here.
Over 50 girls. No girl under 50. Remember those?
Well, I will not miss the road, but I'm so glad that
I will bring you tales from the road.
You're still making tales. That's what's important.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, I mean, you like these stories about your health accidents. They will be your stories in 10 years.
That's right. I didn't tell my new AI joke I had for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had an AI experience. I got flipped off by a driverless car. It's not a bad joke.
No. Do you purposely write, or does it just come to you?
A little of both. Something happened the other night that I got a good bit out of. I was on stage. I said, when you get to be over 65, you lose muscle mass. You lose like 2% a year. I said, I'm at the point now where opening a bag of pretzels is like tearing a phone book in half. So this kid who's like 25 goes, what's a phone book? I said, it's a book. Like in your town, everybody's phone number. He goes, what?
Yeah.
How'd they get everybody's number? And I go, well, they have the number. He goes, what if you want to be in the book? I said, well, then you pay money to get an unlisted number. So you pay that's extortion. I said, we're not having this conversation. But I just laughed and said, it was just no idea what a phone book was.
But I'm surprised that you would not have replaced phone book with another word, because I could have told you that this is going to happen.
Yeah,
phone book is you don't want to we're old enough without reminding people that we're old.
I know, but
we can't be like, kids, Bat Masterson once said.
But you also have to be true to yourself, and it works for me.
But there must be another way to convey that idea without using the word.
Yes, but I wouldn't have had the interaction with the guy, and that's what's funny. The guy never, not even understanding the concept of a phone book.
Yeah.
Explain a paper route to a kid. Why not just get on the internet? No, you put on a piece of paper. You go to each house. What? What are you talking about? They don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not so sure reminding them that we're old is really the best way to go.
But they can just look at us and see.
I know, but there's a difference between something that goes on in the mind, which says, okay, they're not young
Well,
anymore,
yeah, but
but they're still hip and they're still funny and we still
Yeah.
they still get across without don't give them a reason
No.
to roll their eyes, because that's what that generation wants to do, is roll their eyes at you. Don't give them a reason.
But see, I don't dwell on it. I'll do 40 minutes of material before I even bring that up, and then I'm merely stating the obvious. I mean, I remember one day the Stones are on one of their endless last tours. I was in my office, and a bunch of interns from the Tonight Show were there, and the Stones came on the news. And I said, "God, they got to admit, they still look pretty good." And I look over, and they're like, "These kids are laughing, look good." Mr. Leno, they're like 75 years old. I go, well, don't they look? No, they look awful. I mean, they just thought that was the funniest thing. And it just made me laugh because I did the same thing when I was a kid.
Tell the story about you and Mick Jagger at Plato's Retreat, because
Yeah,
I know.
I didn't know that.
Come on, there must be a no.
Oh, look at the time. Oh, gosh.
Give me some rock star stories. Who are your rock star friends? I mean, you know everybody. Everybody calls you.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of rock star. You know, one day.
Really?
You know who I
Come
got?
on.
I got friendly with was Prince, because he didn't drink.
Prince, the one nobody could ever get friendly with.
No,
Okay.
I'll tell you a great Prince story. He used to come on the Tonight Show a lot.
He once talked about politically incorrect.
Yeah.
He was a fan. Do you remember that?
Yes. Well,
That meant a lot to me.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yes.
But one day, I knew he was coming on the show. So I dress up as a security guard. I have a bald wig on, and I have a mustache. You know, and I got a big fat suit on, and he pulls in, and I go, "Can I have your name, please?" "Prince?" He said, "It's Prince." "Prince. Prince what?" "Prince, the musician." "Your name is Prince, the musician?" He goes, "No." And now he's getting mad. He goes, "No, I'm on the show. I'm a performer. My name is Prince." I said, "I understand. Prince what? I don't have it now. Prince what?" He goes, "It's not Prince what. It's just Prince." Now he's getting really pissed, you know. And
He doesn't see that it's you.
no, I'm starting to laugh. He goes, "You think this is funny?" I go, "Yeah, it's pretty funny." He goes, "What? Oh, fuck you." He fell down. He really started laughing because he really got mad at me.
That's awesome.
Because he just had this, here I am, I'm a huge star, all these Grammys I get,
Right.
and the security guy doesn't know who I am. But I said, "No, it's me. I got to think." Oh, yeah, he was great. He was very
That's
funny.
gutsy, because it could have gone the other way.
No, not with
With
him.
a rock
He
star.
was great. You know, after the show,
Yeah, there are rock stars who.
yeah, I know, but
don't-
he wasn't one of them.
Good.
He kept the audience there, and he said, "Can I play a couple songs for you guys?" Okay. He played, and they kind of jammed with it, and he was great. He was really a nice guy.
What did he play that night? Do you remember?
I don't remember what he played that night.
What year?
Well, let me see.
90s?
No, probably
Remember you were guest hosting?
6, 7, 8. You know, in the odd years, 07, 08, 09.
Oh, that far.
Oh yeah. I mean, I left in 14. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember when I did they moved you to the 10 o'clock thing.
That was stupid.
I mean, that whole episode.
I only took that because they said, if you do this show, I said, I don't think it's going to work. If you do the show, we'll pay your staff for 2 years. And I love my staff. And I said, all right, you get everybody 2 years guaranteed work. You guys want to do it? Okay. All right, we'll do it. But I knew it wouldn't last. And it did.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought it would. I thought, oh, that's the right move, because.
No, I knew it wouldn't work. You know why? Because Cabot tried it. Cabot tried it.
You're not Cabot.
And he tried it in the 60s at 10 o'clock.
That's really.
And it didn't work. Well, not
You
really.
and Cabot.
No, but it.
I mean, that's like pizza versus sushi.
No,
It's just,
Cabot was
more people are going to choose the pizza. You're the pizza, Jay.
Yeah, but TV still had a sort of, it's funny when you read early reviews of Johnny. Oh, where's the erudite Jack Parr? Where's it so and so?
Yeah.
Johnny was sort of like the people's because
Right.
don't forget when television in the 50s it was Playhouse 90. Laurence Olivier had a show where he'd come out and greet people and talk. I mean, it was a very classy medium, and then it gradually went to the masses.
But again, you have to ride the wave that comes from the ocean.
Right.
I know this as a body surfer, and you rode the wave that was going toward the shore, and you rode it right. I think I've told you this once. I remember talking to oh God, I don't know what year this was, probably the 90s, but she was a young girl and a part of my mentoring program.
Okay.
And I asked her, do you watch Letterman? Do you watch Leno? And she was, oh no, Leno. And it's like, why? She said, like, it's just more of a party. You got that. That
Yeah.
like the era of the straight talk show was over.
Right.
People didn't have that acumen anymore.
Right.
They didn't have that ability to, certainly when Johnny started, sit through a discussion with Gore Vidal.
Right. Right.
When he did, Johnny used to do an hour 45.
Right. I remember. Yeah.
And they would have authors on at the end. I mean, sorry, but you got to live in the world you're living in and the
Right,
society you're living in. And you understood that.
Right.
You
right.
know,
Well,
you always kept, in a way we are connected because I feel like I'm the only guy on TV who really isn't like ideologically captured by the left. That is basically my politics,
yeah,
old school liberalism, but
you
I
have
don't
the-
hate the other side. And
no, but you have the most honest show on television.
Thank you.
I always know exactly how you feel. I don't have to agree, but at least I know you're not trying to appease the audience.
And I don't just go with one side because
Right,
that's
right.
the side.
I know. No,
And you
remember I told you this years
you
ago.
kept Middle America and the coasts.
I told you used to sort of get mad because you weren't as popular as some of the other guys. And I said, but you're going to have longevity. You're going to be around longer because you're interesting and you make people think. When you're young, people don't want to think. They just want to laugh and move.
Actually, I was more popular than almost all the other guys, and often all of them. If you went by the ratings numbers, it was just media
Okay, well,
did not want to acknowledge me because I wasn't in the perfectly woke
that's
one
right,
true
right,
opinion.
Right.
camp.
Whatever reason would
Right.
be. I remember you used to get so frustrated, and I used to think, it's going to work out fine, and it has.
Yes, absolutely.
You're on the air for 30 years or whatever.
I know. It's unbelievable.
I got to go. I got to take care of my wife.
Jay, I was going to say it's a shame that the only time we see each other now is when we do this, but I don't really give a fuck why we see each other.
I love
the fact that I can sit here with you and talk to you, I'll do it under any circumstances, even if I have to go onto a car and get burned or some shit.
I will make that happen, my friend.
Some accident.
Accident again.
Random.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty,
How
thank you.
about a man? Oh my gosh, a hug from my pal, Jay.
Hey.
You look good, by the way.
Thanks, yeah.
How's that opening the pickle jar?
I'm
Is
doing
that
all right. Yeah.
Club Random.